In today's video, I'm going to be showing you just a small portion of my Grailed collection. Just a little insight as to why they call me the king of thrift. What's up YouTube fam? It's your boy Phil, also known as the King of Thrift, back with another video today. To all my returning subscribers, welcome back to another video. And for those of you, this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. What I teach here is how to get started reselling or how to turn it into a full-time income if that's what you're looking to do. I made my first sale on eBay back in 2003, and since then I've turned it into a full-time income. I do very well for myself, and I've been doing this for 20 plus years, guys. So you're dealing with a veteran in the game. I actually helped start this game 20 years ago. Started the whole reselling craze with shoes. And if you're interested in that subject matter, check out one of my videos that tells basically the history of the sneakerhead culture and its rise into popular culture. Now with that out of the way, guys, let's get right into the topic today. My vintage collection, just a small portion of my vintage collection. I'm going to show you why they call me the king of thrift. I have a collection, guys, that is unrivaled by anyone on the planet. The first piece we have is right here, and this is known as a Jams World shirt. Original Jams. They make clothing like this, which is loud. They made it back in the 80s and early 90s. Their vintage pieces are fire, guys. These pieces here are worth a lot of money. Now this piece in particular, as you can see what we have going on here, we got these people here. This is a tribal shirt. And these right here will be known as natives. But what makes this piece so hot are these people here. They're blue people like Avatar. So this shirt is hot. It's a perfect size. It's a size large. It's very clean, as you can tell. You got the one pocket on the front. And it was also made in conjunction with this company here, Surfline Hawaii. And what that does is make the piece worth more, because anytime you find a piece that is collaborated, basically two brand names put together, that increases the value of the shirt. So this piece right here, this is a hot piece, and I wouldn't let this go for no less than probably $200. $200 to $250, and that value is going up every day. So first piece in the house, Jams World Collectible. Now guys, just a little side note, a quick side note to let you know, I picked up every piece that I'm showing you in the wild. I did not buy these pieces. These pieces would cost me an arm and a leg today. I picked them up when they were basically worthless. Okay, next guys, what we have here, what do we have? We have a pair of Converse. Now these Converse are very special because what you see here is a pair of vintage, highly collectible, and on top of that, these have never been worn, guys. They still have the tag. You see this? You can see that there. It says made in the USA. Converse stopped making shoes in the USA years and years ago, and if you can find them made in the USA, that's your money, guys. Like I said, these are brand new. Brand new. And these are from my personal collection, guys. My collection runs deep and the value of these pieces runs high. I wouldn't sell these personally for less than $500. That's what you would get for something like this. But I'm gonna let them go. I'll probably list them for $900. I'll put them in my collection, and I might put them online for $900. And if they don't sell, I'll just wait until they do, because it might take a little time, but they will sell. With all these pieces I'm showing you guys, I curated these pieces over years, over 20 years. In other words, I picked up pieces that weren't hot at the time. I put them up. I literally put them up in stacks in my warehouse, and that's where they've been sitting for literally a decade or more. And during that time, the value has gone from something like this that would have been worth probably $50 when I picked them up, now is worth $500 to $1,000, just depending on that collector. Size 10, excellent size, and brand new. So these are gonna fetch a very, very high price. Okay guys, next up, this is a nice t-shirt. Vintage t-shirts are really, really hot right now, and this is no exception. Look at that. You see that? Strohs. Now let's look at the date on this. 1983, guys. You see that right there? 1983. A shirt like this from 1983, Strohs, that is money, guys. I mean, it's got that paper thinness going that you like. It's really soft and comfortable, of course. That's how you know that it's vintage. But the main way you know it's vintage, besides the date located right on the front, is you want to look at the tag. You look at this tag here, and you can see this is it says sneakers. Actually, honestly, I've never heard of that brand of t-shirts. But this is a sneakers brand. How I know it's vintage, number one is this tag is, I mean, you can see it's basically nicely worn. And number two, it's a 50-50. What's known as a 50-50. I don't know if they're still listing them that way, but that means it's 50% cotton, 50% polyester. All the best t-shirts from vintage times are 50-50. Made by Screen Stars, sometimes made by Jerseys. Jerseys not so desirable, sometimes like Fruit of the Loom. This piece right here is hot, it is fire, and a piece like this, I mean, what's it gonna go for? I know that's what you guys wanna know. What would a piece like this go for? See on the back it says, good old Davies County Barbecue. Now see, someone took this Stroh's shirt and they put their business on the back. But it does not take away from the value. If anything, that actually adds to the value, because again, it's a collaboration, guys. Stroh's and this old school barbecue company. So this is hot, this is an authentic piece. I wouldn't let this go for less than $150 all day, all day, all day. Couple of snapbacks, a couple of awesome little snapbacks here. You see that? That is Orlando Magic. And this right here looks like it's discolored. It's actually not. That is the color of it. You know what? That actually could be discolored. It really doesn't matter. This hat is in pristine condition. If anything, that should be white. But what makes me think that maybe it's not supposed to be white is because there are other portions of the hat that are white. This, if it did discolor, then just this material discolored due to the aging process, due to where it was being stored, the humidity levels, all that stuff affects vintage clothing. But regardless, it really doesn't matter. This is a very high-end piece. Orlando Magic, very desirable along with the Lakers and the Bulls and pretty much any of your favorite sports teams as long as they're vintage. And another thing that you're looking for with vintage pieces are the old school logos. When you see that old logo, of course you're going to know it's older unless it's a remake. And when that situation, you just need to know what constitutes a remake versus an original. And that will only come with time and trial and error. Or if you want to watch these videos, I'll be glad to teach you all that I know. So this piece here, I would say is from the 90s, official licensed NBA product. I mean, a piece like this, I mean, I wouldn't let it go for maybe $75, maybe $150. There's no telling, guys. But that's a nice piece, good for no less than a bill. So that's what's next. All right, let's do another snapback. Since we're doing snapbacks, let's do another one. Now this one here, Chiefs, guys, Kansas City. Look at how clean this is. This thing is brand new. I still got the tag. I haven't taken the tag off of it where I picked it up from, you know, one of these thrift shops. And as you can see there, paid $3 for this. NFL team. This is a trademark logo, Youngin Hat Company. If you know your tags and you know what you're looking for, then you'll know this is an old piece. It's an original, in other words. Pristine condition, good for 50, 75, 150. I don't know, guys. I have to look it up to know the exact value. But I do know it's worth a lot more than $3 that I paid for it. So that's what's next. Now, guys, this is one of my favorite pieces. This is my own personal piece. I'll be showing you some of the things I wear, some of my collectibles. This particular piece comes from my own wardrobe. And what we have here is a awesome, killer Gucci belt. You can see the colors on this thing. Those Gucci colors in that colorway. You got that cream colored buckle on the front with the 2 G's and the gold tone buckle going on there. Very, very nice canvas. Actually, this feels like wool. You see that there? Whether it's authentic, that's something, again, that you need to learn. This is a vintage piece, and it is authentic. As you can see here, if you know your pieces, then you know that this is an authentic piece. It would be good for no less than probably $250, maybe $300, you know, maybe $150. It really doesn't matter at this point, guys. These pieces are worth no less than $150 up. And in that particular case, it's gonna come down to what is the collector willing to pay? What is the buyer willing to pay? Time and circumstance, the news, the climate of the country, all these things, guys, affect the price of even these type of things. So keep that in mind when you're collecting, when you're buying, when you're purchasing. Again, I bought this years ago, guys. I put it up, I kept it for myself, but it's definitely gone up in value because it's a vintage piece. And as time goes on, a piece like this is only going to gain in value. Okay, so maybe that's not so impressive, guys. Maybe you aren't impressed with these pieces. I would challenge anyone out there to step up with a collection of vintage men's clothing. These pieces have been curated over a decade or more, guys. I want to say 2 decades, but honestly, I didn't start curating these pieces. I didn't start, in other words, collecting pieces and putting them up as investment pieces until about 10 years ago. But when I did it fast and furious, guys, and I got stacks of this stuff, just like this. Pieces that will blow your mind. And if anyone is interested in any of these pieces, you can contact me personally. I'm always willing to work something out. And on that note, I am considering, more than likely, I'm going to open my own store. It'll be located over at thekingofthrift.com, and there I'm going to place all my most desirable, high-end grailed pieces. So that will be coming in the future, guys, and anyone who's interested, drop that in the comment section and let me know that you would like to see that, and I'll get that out as soon as possible. Now this piece here is going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. If you know what you're looking at. If you know your vintage clothing, then you'll know what I have here. So get ready. This, I'm just going to hold it up, guys. We're going to hold it up and just let you gawk at that for a minute. Now those of you who know, who are in the know, you know what you're looking at. You know what you're looking at. No less than a G right here, guys. $1,000. A G for a G. See this right here? This fighting cock right here? See this right here? Pacific Air Force. See this over here? McDonald's Phantom. And then we got another one over here. F4 Phantom. Now these are all legit patches, guys. These came from the military, the Air Force. And each one of these patches in and of itself is worth a ton of money. Not to mention this jacket. This is an authentic flight jacket, guys. It is what it appears to be. It's reversible. It's got the orange inside with the pockets. And what you see all over, if you're shopping the malls around America and probably overseas, you're gonna see remakes of this jacket all day because it's one of the hottest pieces on the planet right now. It is trending, it is fire. And like I said, those of you who are in the know, you know exactly what you're looking at here. This is also one of my pieces, fits me perfect. It's one of my favorite jackets, guys. I love wearing this jacket. I like to think of myself as very fashion conscious. I know what's going on in the vintage fashion world. I have to stay abreast of what's happening in the current fashions of men's clothing. I don't really care what's going on in women's clothing. I am a vintage clothing curator, if you want to know the truth. This is just another piece that I picked up, worth probably $1,000, maybe more, just depends on the collector, but I wouldn't let it go for less than a G. And every day this thing gains in value. There it is pristine, it is beautiful. Look at those cuffs, guys. You won't find one like this with the cuffs like that. They are so clean. Look at that. They're clean, they're not fuzzy. They got no fuzz balls on them. They're not stretched out and woed out. You know, they're not discolored. Even the inside of this orange has no discoloring, which is a very common issue for this particular jacket. Fire, guys, fire. What I'm showing you here is just a small handful of what I have, and trust me, I have much better pieces. I have more expensive pieces. I have sold to Broadway. I have sold to movie stars, foreign dignitaries. I have sold to several very well-known motion picture companies, the biggest in the business. I like to keep my clients' information private, but I can tell you there was a piece that I recently sold that went to make a movie with Zac Efron. It was in the movie. That's all I want to say about it, guys. I recently sold a piece to Jimmy Kimmel, John Stamos, guys. I mean, the list goes on. I've sold to rappers, movie stars. There was recently, I want to say recently, maybe a year or so ago, on ABC, I think it was about the astronauts' wives. And they were looking for some vintage clothing for the men in the show. They were looking to buy some pieces, and I negotiated with them. Needless to say, the series did not come to fruition and never made it to air. Okay, we got a couple more pieces here. I'm trying to keep this video a little bit short. Don't worry, I will be making more videos in the future on the same subject matter. So if you like this and you want to see more, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment and let me know that you are interested. Now this one, ooh, this is one of my favorites. Look at that. Look at that. Macho Man Randy Savage in a house. Ooh, yeah! Purple, Macho Man Randy Savage, 1992. This shirt is a WWF brand. 50-50, guys. Of course, 50% polyester, 50% cotton. And of course, another way that you'll always know something is vintage, truly made in the USA, because ain't nothing made in the USA anymore. So that's what we have here. Look at that, guys. Purple. It's nice and soft. It's got a little thinness going to it. Look at the Macho Man with these sunglasses here, looking out from his sunglasses. I can hear him. I can just hear him. Oh yeah! Snap into a Slim Jim. Is he still alive? I do not know. But I know that this piece is fire, guys. Regardless of whether he's alive, this piece goes up in value every day. And if it wasn't purple, I'd probably wear it around. But I'm from the old school, and I don't wear purple or pink. This is in my collection, and it'll just sit there, and it'll just grow in popularity and value every day, guys. Like I said, when I picked this up, it was probably worth $15 or $25 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago, and today it's worth $150 or $250. Who knows? I'm not looking it up. I don't have to. I know it's money. There's that one, guys. Let me fold this up here, and we're going to do a couple more pieces. I keep saying just one more, but this is so much fun, I can't stop. All right, can't stop. I won't stop. All right, we're going to do these together, guys, because they're not the baddest of the bad. They're not the most expensive. But hey, you see that? These are originals, guys. You see this? People will kill for these hats. They're brand new. That's what makes them so hot. They're brand new. They're straight from the 90s. This one, no, neither one of them. This one, I think, is wool. When you get one of these old hats, if it's made of wool, it's going to be worth more money right off the bat. 9 times out of 10, they're not wool unless it's some special fitted hats or, some of them are wool. And again, those are gonna yield you more return. But I picked both of these up years ago, guys. Still got this price tags on them. Still got the tags on them. And actually, these came from a collection. A lot of times when you go out there and shop, what you will pick up is someone else's collection. Maybe they died and their grandmother donated or their mom donated it. There's a million reasons why these things end up on the shelves, because people can never understand Why would someone donate something that's worth so much money? Well, not everyone knows what these pieces are worth, guys. When I picked these up, no one thought they were worthless. I pick them up 10 years later, they're worth 100, 1,000 times what I paid for them. 1,000. Some pieces are worth in the thousands, guys. I do have pieces that are in the thousands. This would not be one of them. But these are good for $50, $75 all day, guys. Maybe $150. Just depends. Gotta do a little research. If you know what these are worth, drop it in the comment section. Let me know. But here's some more fire pieces for you. Snapbacks. Piece on the list here, we got this Pajama. Pajama. Anybody know what that is? Some of you old heads will know what it is, but all you young cats have no idea. Now again, we know this is a true vintage piece. There are many things that give this away. I can look at this and I'll know in a heartbeat it's a vintage piece. But one way, see these on the sleeves, these rings, and then you got this this outline V-neck in the red. Another way obviously is the tag. You look at the tag, Gulf Coast Sportswear, and it is a 50-50. Again, 50-50, and of course, I guarantee you it's made in USA. This was actually made in Clute, Texas, right down the road. Now this was actually named after a college basketball team here in Houston. They called them Phi Slamma Jamma, they called the team, and I think it was from 82 to about 92 or somewhere in there. But that does indicate the age of this. So I thought it was from the 70s, but it's actually from the early 80s, which puts it right at the late 70s. What happens is anything that was made in 81, 82, even 83, the styles were being carried over from the 70s. The 70s was still carrying over. And just a little note for you guys, as far as vintage clothing, you can classify it as 70s, you can classify it as 80s, but the actual eras run from 75 to 85, from 85 to 95. Those of what I've found are the cycles of fashion. Because if you go from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s, there's not really a clear, definitive break in styles until you get about halfway through the decade. So in other words, the 70s went out in the 80s. No, they didn't go out for about 5 years of the 80s. They were phased out. And by 85, you've got what we call the 80s. And so for 5 years, you've got the 80s. But for the first 5 years, you got the 80s mixed with the 70s. So it's not technically the 80s. And then the same thing as you hit 90 to 95, you're carrying over the 80s into the 90s. You see, if you are trying to judge the exact age of your piece, you're going to find that that is going to work way more accurately than just, judging by this is a 60s or 70s or an 80s piece. So I don't know how clear that came out, but hopefully it was understandable. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Maybe you learned something. If you did, let me know, and make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you're looking to get started reselling, or you're already reselling and you're looking to turn it into a full-time income, subscribe to this channel right now. And if you're really serious about taking your reselling to the next level, then shoot on over to thekingofthrift.com and download How to Crush It Reselling with No Experience, guys. I poured what took me 20 years to learn into this book. All my tips, tricks, strategies, and all the money that I lost, guys. You don't have to. So shoot on over there and pick that up and get started right now. Thanks again for tuning in for another video. I hope you enjoyed it. And until my next one, you guys be good. Now get on out there and
make that money on eBay.